Just before the explosion, blast gauges are parachuted into the target area from weather and instrument planes. The bomber is over the target. The bomb is away, and 1 second to go. In the following view, the blast will be seen as was photographed in slow motion. In this view of the blast recorded from a camera tower on Bikini, the suction caused by the explosion can be seen pulling the soot from the ship's stacks into the center of the rising column. The towering cloud column rose to a height of almost 8 miles.
$15, 10, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, fire.
These pictures of the descending water column show the expanding cloud of spray and fog at the base of the column, moving outward and covering the ships in the target array. Great quantities of radioactive water from the column descended upon the decks of the nearby vessels, and ship hulls a mile away were drenched by the wall of foaming water. This wall of lethal spray and fog eventually covered the entire target fleet. The next scene is a spectacular aerial view taken from directly over the blast. Here is one of the drone airplanes flying over the target fleet after the blast.
Minus 10 seconds. Niner, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, T0. Now at 8,500 feet, at 6,500 feet, at 4,500 feet, at 2,500 feet, approaching 1,500 feet. Watch the air overrun it. What about Mike? Let us now go back and examine the evidence and point up the statistical highlights of that device. Remember those final last seconds? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, T0. This is the largest fireball ever produced. At its maximum, it measures about 3 1/4 miles in diameter. Compared to the skyline of New York, this means that with the Empire State Building as 0 point, the Mike fireball would extend downtown to Washington Square and uptown to Central Park. In other words, the fireball alone would engulf about 1/4 of the island of Manhattan. The tremendous upsurge of air from the detonation rapidly pushes up the Mike cloud. Again, nothing of this height and width has ever before been witnessed. If the picture is stopped at this point in the cloud's growth, the height of the cloud is approximately 40,000 feet. This means that 32 Empire State Buildings at 1,250 feet per building could be piled one on top the other before they would attain the cloud's height at this time, roughly 2 minutes after zero. Some 10 minutes later, the cloud approaches its maximum. At this time, the mushroom portion of the cloud has pushed up to around 10 miles and spreads out along the base of the stratosphere to a width of about 100 miles, while the stem itself is pushed upward deep into the stratosphere to a height of about 25 miles. Later figures put the Mike yield at around 10 megatons or 10,000 kilotons. This means there was more energy released in this one shot, roughly 10 times more than in all previous atomic blasts combined, including probably those of Russian origin. Or to put it another way, 4 times more power in this one shot than from all the high explosives dropped by the entire Anglo-American Air Force on Germany and the occupied countries during the last war. The results of this tremendous power can be shown at the atoll. Here is an aerial photo of the test area of the atoll before the blast. And here is the same area after the blast, showing the crater caused by Mike. The outlined island in the center is former Illugelab, the Zero Island. Sections of the islands on either side have been chopped off. The crater is roughly a mile in diameter. When it is illustrated that some 14 Pentagon buildings could be comfortably accommodated in this hole, the size of the Mike crater becomes more real. In profile, the crater gradually slopes down to a maximum depth of some 175 feet, or equivalent to the height of a 17-story building. The lateral destructive effects are the greatest yet observed from a single explosive device. Without getting into the areas of target evaluation or secondary effects, it can be safely assumed that there was complete annihilation within a radius of 3 miles, or out to and including all of Engebi, that there was severe to moderate damage out to 7 miles or down to Ruggiero, and that light damage extended as far as 10 miles or down to Runnock. Relating this area of damage to a city like Washington, D.C. would present a picture something like this. With a capital as 0 point, there would be complete annihilation west to Arlington Cemetery, east to the Anacostia River, north to the Soldiers' Home, and south to Bowling Field. Complete annihilation, and that is mentioning merely the primary damage.
This photograph was taken from an airplane at 50 miles. The width of the fireball at this time, about 3 seconds after detonation, was 4 miles. The frame size of the picture is 6 by 8 miles. The top of the fireball at this time, 40 seconds after detonation, was 5 miles above sea level. Proved that we can have a high-yield weapon weighing less than 10 tons. The distance of the camera aircraft is 50 miles. The frame size of the picture is 14 by 18 miles. The film is running at normal speed. Looked from Hardtack Atoll, 200 miles away. Location off the island of Urochi, 0 hour approached. The time of firing, 6:10 on the 26th of April. Camera position, 50 miles at 10,000 feet. Size of picture, 14 by 18 miles. Photographed at normal speed. The yield was 7 megatons. Camera position, 50 miles at 10,000 feet. Size of picture, 14 by 18 miles. Photographed at half normal speed. Size of picture is 14 by 18 miles. The yield was about 1.7 megatons, essentially as predicted. From this firing, we learned that we have the capability of developing megaton weapons weighing less than 10,000 pounds.
Gleaned from the 1946 shallow water Crossroads Baker shot. The 1955 Deepwater Wigwam shot and various high explosive tests. H hour for the Deepwater shot was 1330 on 16 May. H hour for the shallow water shot was 1115, 9 June. On the Deepwater Wahoo shot, the rounded spray dome rose to 900 feet. This was immediately followed by a bubble pulse, which sent numerous water plumes in a spherical pattern to a height of 1,750 feet. A base surge developed at around 30 seconds and spread out rapidly to about 7,000 feet in crosswind radius and well over 1,000 feet in height at 2 minutes. On the shallow water shot, the spray dome developed rapidly into a columnar plume, attaining a height of 5,800 feet. Except for a tenuous mist at the center, all visible material fell back into the water or the base surge, which appeared in about 13 seconds. At 75 seconds, the surge was about 1,850 feet high, and at 7 minutes, its crosswind radius was around 9,500 feet. Transit radiation, that is, the cloud and passage of the base surge, contributed practically all of the total dose aboard the ships. The underwater dose and the deposited ship contamination were insignificant. The 2 underwater shots on Operation Hardtack extended our knowledge of nuclear underwater blast, shock, and radiation effects. A great deal of information was gained, which upon completion of analysis will help to provide answers to naval tactical problems.
Тени, несмотря на сплошную облачность, были видны в радиусе до 1000 километров. Полевой столб, поднимающийся с земли, быстро увеличился в объеме. Через несколько секунд после взрыва диаметр полевого столба составлял около 10 километров. В это же время с самолета, находившегося в 250 километрах от точки взрыва, был виден огненный купол из раскаленных продуктов взрыва. Он медленно поднимался вверх, увеличиваясь в объеме. Максимальный диаметр купола доходил до 20 километров. Пронизав несколько слоев сплошной облачности, огненный купол через 40 секунд после взрыва достиг высоты 30 километров. С этого момента началось постепенное превращение купола в грибообразное облако. Увеличиваясь в размерах, облако медленно поднималось вверх. В своем конечном развитии оно достигло высоты 60-65 километров. Его диаметр равнялся 90 километрам. В дальнейшем облако начало утрачивать грибообразную форму. В этот период диаметр его основания был равен 70 километрам, а диаметр ножки 26-28 километрам. При возвращении на аэродром экипаж самолета-носителя наблюдал облако взрыва с расстояния 800 километров.